Hey guys, welcome to Refine Savage. This week we traveled down to Columbus, Ohio again to go visit Lexen Xtreme and the owner Dan Dague. Dan is a fantastic guy who has had some of the strongest people on the planet through his gym at one time or another. So check out the podcast today and hope you like it. Talk to you soon. See ya. Back in Columbus, Ohio, we are at Lexen Xtreme with Dan Dague. How you doing?
I'm good.
This place is fantastic. You're just showing me around. I said, you must have $20,000 just in monoliths. I've never seen a gym with 4 monoliths before. Other than that, maybe outside of Elite Fitness or something.
Yeah, I was fortunate. When I started this venture, it was in 2004. I've had a friend from the beginning. You know, we both started out at a guy named Doug Heath. You ever hear of Doug Heath?
Oh, yeah, I sure have.
Doug Heath was a great personal trainer, but he was actually a powerlifter. And we trained in a friend of his basement, which was Laura Dodd, who was involved with West Side Barbell at the time. And we started with Doug, and my friend's name was Tim Van Horn. Well, he had a Ohio Wire and Spring. It was a place where they did heavy springs and wire form. Well, he was a machinist, fabricator. So he started making, stuff. We started training with Doug, and then we moved on to Louie. Doug introduced us to Louie, so we started going over there, and Louie had him build some things for him. And that's how it all started. Tim started making monoliths, hypers. He's got all the prototypes from the old days. That's how that started. And I was fortunate for him to give me most of the stuff back when he was pretty much done with powerlifting. He said, here, we'll get you started. You start your gym. And that's how I got most of the stuff. A lot of it wasn't all put together. I had to weld it up some myself. And, as time went on, I bought things and bars were donated and sponsorships came, and I just started building it. And you'd be surprised how many people give you things too.
Oh yeah. I've got a gym, and people want to make stuff for you. People want to give you stuff. Yeah, and it's always great.
So it's been a good thing. Equipment. I do my own fabricating too. But fortunate enough in 2004 to be able to start the gym with a lot of kids. As you can see here on the wall, I was a football coach, strength. Yeah. Just a strength coach over here at Grove City High School from 2006 to 2009. And that's pretty much how Lexen grew, was with the kids.
Well, you get a built-in good environment.
Right.
Bring in a bunch of high school kids that just want to get better.
And that's the key to football and team sports. You got to have them all on board. Yeah. Like all 11 players, all the linemen, all the defensive line, the backs, the running backs, they were all in here training together. And it made for a successful season. We went to the OCC championship. We won it. Went too deep in the playoffs. And then, of course, we got beat. But we had good success with these kids coming over here. And then as time went on, the school levy, it was a levy that didn't pass. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the kids were frustrated. It started to die off here. It was just a mess because we voted it down. They voted it down.
Right.
The community.
That's
took away the sports.
That that something like a levy,
mm-hmm.
it affects everyone in the community, not just the school.
Oh yeah, real big time. So what happened was build it and they come kind of thing. Just at the time, 2004, there wasn't no private gyms around.
Right.
West Side was the only private gym, and then when I built mine, they started coming. The powerlifters, that mm-hmm. is. And the kids kind of faded out. The powerlifters started coming. Well, I just followed the trend and said, okay, we'll just have powerlifting gym. And it kind of made that flip to where the kids weren't here so much. And then it kind of revolved into all the powerlifters coming. And then we form our team and go to the meets. And then I started running meets. And the rest is history. Here we are still doing it,
And this place has been, we were talking about Columbus in general and how I'm down here at least once a month to talk to somebody. And when I started this podcast, I said, well, I don't want to have phone interviews or Skype interviews. I want to sit down and talk with someone and have a conversation with them. To be this close to Columbus, it was a perfect fit because everybody's here.
Yeah.
I mean, within a 2-hour drive from my house, I can talk to everybody.
Yeah, it was actually, when I started powerlifting in the 80s, it was Cleveland. Mm-hmm. John Black.
Yeah.
The Giacchetti brothers.
Yeah.
Giacchetti brothers were fighters.
Mm-hmm.
They were fight promoters. They started messing with the powerlifting stuff. Next thing you know, when Blacks kind of fell out, Giacchetti's took over. But that's where we'd go for the meets.
Right.
When we was doing a meet, we'd go to Cleveland, Strongsville, up there in that area.
Yep.
Steve Wilson And all those guys that were up there, Angelo Bartonelli and, John Florio, God rest his soul.
John Florio, yeah.
Yeah, those were guys that we, that's where we went. John Black had a good thing going up there. And then it kind of, it was a lot of Louis bringing it here.
Mm-hmm.
Louis started the trend, and all the athletes started coming here.
Right.
I think it has a lot to do with college football.
Yeah.
It's just with everything that's going on here, it is a strength capital now.
Yeah, it really is. And
it's
people
unreal.
wonder why the Arnold's here every year. That's why it's here.
Yeah.
This is where, Cleveland, right now, you still have Strong Style. You have
Mark Marinelli.
Yep. Old School Iron, and then you have us at Blind Dog. And we're so far apart from each other that, I'm getting TJ on from Old School Iron. I'd love to get all these guys on because there's no competition. We're far enough away from each other. We're, an hour drive in each direction. But that's all there really is as far as if you want to lift weights with a good crew, there's nowhere else to go. Everything else is Planet Fitness or 24-hour fitness. But you come down here, and whether it's powerlifting or strongman or Olympic lifting, CrossFit, I've been down here interviewing people from every strength sport down here right in Columbus. It's an incredible environment.
From Lexen Xtreme for a 15-minute drive, you can use a monolift at almost every gym within a 15-minute drive. There's so many private gyms now.
Right.
You got Matt Wenning's up the road. He's mostly a client-based place.
Yep.
And then you got Elite Fitness is only 20 minutes from here, from where I'm at. The West Side's about 15 minutes from here. You got another one right up the road, 10 minutes, Doghouse. They're just everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I never dreamed there'd be that many. There's one. It's like hair salons.
Right.
Now.
It is, but the only difference is powerlifters don't like to pay. You can get some old lady to pay you $100 to do her hair, but powerlifters, you got to twist their arm.
You hit the nail on the head there. But, it works. It's hard to make it work, but, we've been successful since 2004, and I was told many times by other people, you'll never make it in this industry because nobody will pay you.
Well, it's a hard road to hoe because I have a friend who owns a gym similar to yours in Philadelphia, and he's having to compete with, like we talked about earlier, $21 Planet Fitness. Now, for you and I, there's a huge difference between this place and Planet Fitness.
Oh, yeah.
But for the school bus driver who just wants to get in shape, they're going to go, you both have bench presses,
right.
So they're just going to go to the $21 one. So it's you have 4 monoliths, you have the best specialty bars, you have, belt squat in the back and different hyper machines. And it's
almost every weight we have in here, too, is a York calibrated plate.
Right.
We've got a lot of mismatch, but for the majority, there's 60, I think, 45-pound York plates in this gym.
Right.
And then the York hundreds I've got those York hundreds I use for the stage, and we've got other ones that sit around this gym. They're so sought after. They're the old flat, if a guy, guys have been around the sport know they're flat. They don't have a lip on them.
Right.
And they're Yorks. They don't make them no more. They're calibrated 100s. I've had them all calibrated, and they're almost spot on 100 pounds.
Right.
And you can't find them anymore. People see those, and they're worth almost $2 a pound.
Wow.
It's hard to find them, but I've got several of them. I've probably got 15 of them.
Well, probably in people's basements, they don't even know what they have.
Yeah, they probably don't know what they have. I mean, there's still some out there, but they don't even make them anymore. And this gym houses a lot of those, which that doesn't mean much unless you're a powerlifter. You're like, oh, that,
But it does when you know what you're looking at.
Yeah, when you know what you're looking at. But like
wow.
you just said, the average person out there, this is intimidating when they walk in. They look at this, and that's a working gym.
You took me I was standing in the front room talking to Holly when you came in, and I hadn't seen the actual room. I'm like, oh, this is a pretty sweet gym. And I hadn't even seen the gym yet. I had just seen the little room where you're going to have the powerlifting meet. But you walk in there. The thing I like about it is, we call our gym Cave Fit. It's a cave, man. You go in there and you can just tell hard work's going to be done. And when you walk into Lexen in that back room, and you can just see the history all over the plates and bars and walls, and the chalkboard with the records on there. And I think you have to be a certain kind of individual to appreciate that.
Yeah, I get a lot of guys walk in, especially when they weigh in for the meets and stuff, and they'll go, wow, this is cool.
Right.
This is a gym. I like this. It's old school. It's got that feel, that smell.
Right.
I had a kid walk in the other day that used to train here as a youth. and he hadn't been here for probably 8 years. And he walked in, he goes, "It still has that smell."
Right.
I go, "What do you mean?"
Right.
He goes, "It's got that powerlifting smell."
Yeah.
I go, "Yeah, that's the sweat you're smelling, buddy."
Right, yeah. It's not like
But
it's a gross smell. It's
no,
just, you smell that every hardcore gym you went to.
it's a working gym.
Right.
When you come here, people are working out.
Yep.
I mean, you can go to the Planet Fitness and
there's no ferns in the lobby. There's no lobby. Yeah.
Most of that is people wanting to socialize. Yeah. And they want the mirrors and they want they just want that atmosphere of, I'm in the gym, but most of that's done. There's not much getting done. I don't think. That's what I see when I went to public gyms. They're doing the wrong things and they're not getting much done. It's a lot of socializing and whatnot.
Well, we use it as a feeder system. You start at Planet Fitness and come see me in a year when you're done making progress, or then we'll get you in the gym and get you stronger. It's people always ask me, there's a new Planet Fitness opening. Is that going to hurt your business? No, because it's two different clienteles. We get them once they're done with Planet Fitness, or we get them once they're done with CrossFit. They'll come over.
Yeah. At one time, we had a little slump where I moved the gym to a smaller building in the same complex, and this came open, the one we're in now, and it was one of them things where, I was ready to shut the doors because I wasn't making no money, and it was, the clients were down, there wasn't nobody powerlifting. It was just like about a year like that. And then I asked the landlord, "Is that coming open?" He said, "Sure." And I said, I'd like to rent that because it was a lot bigger. Mm-hmm. And it was a build it and they'll come kind of thing. It started to take off. The week I opened it, it was word of mouth. Yeah. As you can see, Danny's new gym. He's got a new one. It's bigger than the old one. And then that's when it started to take back off, and we've been here ever since. And, of course, this side you're on now, the one you walked into, was just opened last year in March. There was a motorcycle club in here that got booted from the landlord because they were doing some wrong things. And so they lost their lease, and I asked if I could rent that side. I had a friend, Mariah Liggett. That name goes way back.
I've seen pictures.
Mariah's she was a West Side guy. She was, when I met Louie in the West Side, there were all girls. There was a group of guys there. They were starting to fade out because he had it in his garage. Mm-hmm. And there was girls, Laura Dodd, Mariah Liggett, Terry Byland, Sue Meany. These girls were the shit. Yeah. They were. We were their corner men. Right. We'd go to the meets and rap them. Well, we had an idea of just doing personal training on this side and use the other side for powerlifting. Mm-hmm. Well, of course, we didn't have time. We found out after we had come in here and restructured the whole thing that we could do that. And so I just cut a hole in the wall, and I said, well, let's turn it all into a powerlifting gym and keep going like that. And she agreed, and that's how we opened this side. And I said, we can run meets here now because we got some more room. And so that worked out to run meets, because, these gyms usually do need to run meets to make the ends meet. And, of course, we're both involved in the Arnold, too. She is with a sport called PowerX that we designed. It's kind of like CrossFit powerlifting mix.
Interesting. I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's called PowerX. It's pretty cool. She'll be down at the convention center as well.
Check that out. That's really
It's right next to me at the, I'm in Concourse A this year down at the convention center. And she's right across the hall from me. Okay. That'll be on Saturday. What it is, a guy like you walks in and says, "I want to you got to pick a weight that you think you can do you can do for 20 reps." Mm-hmm. And that 20 rep is going to be your about all you can do. Right. So let's say you pick 315 on the bench. So there's bench press, there's deadlift with a trap bar, mm-hmm. and there's a power clean. All three of these you do. It's time 3 minutes on each thing, so you can do 20 reps in 3 minutes. So you can rest. Right. And once the bench is done, you go right into the trap bar deadlift, I think it is, and then the power clean. I'll tell you what, it's tough.
Yeah, I bet.
So you don't really get the CrossFit style person, or you don't get the power lifter. You get the guy that's in between, to where he wants to do some reps and not, do a 1 rep max. So it's been tough to get people to do it, but at the Arnold, it's pretty successful. She probably gets 50, 60 lifters in it. It's quick. It's not all day. It's quick. It's just a couple hour event and it's done. And it's pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah, that's the bread and butter of the people I train. They want to do some powerlifting, they want to do some strongman, they want to do some fitness stuff. They more rep based. Very little knee wraps going on. They just want to lift.
That's what it is. It's kind of cool. I mean,
check it out.
It needs to grow, which it has. It's just been tough because the industry's got so much going on. But I think if it catches on, and she's at the Arnold's. I mean, my God, what else? How bigger of a event?
Biggest of the big, right?
Yeah, the best venue you can get. And it's down there, and people need to stop by and check that out. It's in a better place this year. She'll get a lot more traffic, and I think a lot more people will be attracted to that sport. Because it just takes word of mouth or something to grow today. And yeah, it's something that she started. It's been a couple years now, and I think she's had it at the Arnold. This will be her 3rd year. And it's gone good down there. But it's interesting. People need to stop by and watch it.
I've never heard of it, so I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
If I can get through it, I always have to talk myself into going to the Arnold every year. It's
you're not one to go down.
Well, it's such a
it's crazy.
I'm not into the crowds, and it's such a carnival when you go down there. And everyone always asks, "Oh, you're from Ohio? Do you go to the Arnold every year?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do, but I've talked myself into it every year."
Yeah, the Arnold it's been a great thing for me with being part of it and putting the XPC in there. It is just, when this comes around, about the end of summer, I start thinking about it.
Right.
And by October, I better be getting the ball rolling because it takes all winter to get it plugged and people to get ready for it. And it's cool. Man, it's a lot of work and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. And the Lorimers down there treated me so good. It's unreal. They're the ones who run the Arnold.
Right.
Arnold, we get to see him from time to time, comes to some of the meetings. We have a meeting next week on the 5th. Hopefully he'll be there and present so we can see him. And
it's always cool, right?
It's real cool.
Yeah,
it's really neat, man.
I was there watching the Highland Games last year, and he came out onto the area they were doing it. And my buddies are out there throwing, and he's taking selfies while they're throwing behind him and everything. And my one buddy's getting ready to throw a world record in the sheaf, which is a pitchfork and a bale of hay. You throw it over a bar, and there's places you don't stand because if the pitchfork comes off, the bag comes off the pitchfork, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
And here, this guy's going for a world record. Arnold's standing right in the spot he's not supposed to stand in. And I'm like, how did you do that? I would have been thinking the whole time,
I'm going to hit Arnold.
If I kill Arnold,
Yeah.
But yeah, he just stood right there. He doesn't know. He's just standing right there in the kill zone.
I got a guy in here who does those Highland Games. I like the young man I thought I was going to practice with him one day.
It's tough, yeah.
I tell you what, I was destroyed for a week after just one time out there messing with them with the events. I'm like, well, I bit off more than I can chew. I'm too old for this. I mean, it's killed me.
Snappy. That snap strength is.
Yeah, it was a whole different than powerlifting was.
That's what me and Bruce were just talking about out there. He was thinking about getting into it. And so it's a lot of different. Squatting 1,000 pounds feels one way. Throwing a 56-pound weight they're both hard. But it's a whole different muscle system you're incorporating into this.
It is. It's real tough. I never dreamed, but I know now. That's something.
Well, that's what's nice about when you get to my age and they put you in the master's class. Those weights drop a little bit, so you're not.
Still hard though.
It's still hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was. He said they had a master's. I was like, okay, I'll do that. And I'm like, oh my God, I just nope, can't do it.
Yeah, pick that up right off the bat is difficult for sure. With the guys here you have now, you always seem to be pulling in some incredible powerlifters over the years. And we had talked about you having Chuck Vogepohl and Brandon Lilly and all these guys. Matt Wenning, I know, is down here. It seems like when they come down here, they have some freedom to take all the knowledge that they've gained wherever else they were and make the system more their own. And you see improvements from these guys because now they have the freedom to express themselves a little bit.
I'm so glad you went there because I try to preach that all the time. What happens to most gyms is you got to go by their standards. Mm-hmm. And Lexen's got standards. I was an elite level lifter. I totaled 2020 at age 50. That was the best meet I ever had.
Yeah.
that was as far as I could take myself. I was a halfway decent lifter when I was in my 20s. I was always trying to, it was go after your elite, that elite number. And I was always right there, I miss it by 10 pounds or miss it by a deadlift or, I had a bad bomb at a bench or it was always something, And when I got on my own, which in 2004, I started training and just doing my own thing and kind of like just, let's all agree on something. Let's all do this. There wasn't no standards.
Right.
And when the guys started coming here, I don't manipulate nobody.
Right.
I tell them this. You come here, you pretty much, the whole secret to powerlifting, and there's a lot of people doing personal training out there. I get it. They're making money doing it. Good for them. But there's no secret. There is no secret. The secret is train with a good group of people that know what they're halfway doing, guys that competed before. That's the secret, is getting with good people and training hard and doing what everybody else is doing in that group. And it's more like a team effort and going to the competitions with each other. That's where I found, we started training together when Matt and all those guys come over here. We had a good thing going because it was this is what we're going to do this week.
Right.
It was something that, they would come up with. Usually Chuck or Matt would kind of lead the group and we'd all do it. But it was no structured program, and you weren't going to be told what to do. Right. You're not going to be told to go to this meet, not go to that meet. Because I tell them when they come here, if you want to go to any meet, you can go to any meet you want. I don't care. We might not support that.
Right.
We might not go along with you to Florida or one of these places and fly down and waste our time. Because we just don't want to endorse that meet. But if it's something we endorse, we'll be there 100%, And they've had guys go to different meets, and I'm not going to mention any federations or anything because they're all good in their own. But they would go and they'd have a decent meet, and they'd come and they'd end up doing what we're all doing.
Right.
We're all going to this meet, so if you want to go there, we'll be there for you.
Right.
And that's the way I tell everybody. I go, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You train your own way. Most of the guys that come here are elite pro levels anyway.
Right. Yeah.
If they don't know by now, there's something wrong.
Well, you think about it. You get these guys in here. They have their background and they've gone through the system and they've got all these ideas. I mean, they're not just following this stuff blindly. They're thinking. When I talked to Matt Wenning, you could tell that this guy was too smart to have someone tell him what to do all the time.
Yeah.
Matt was always thinking. And when you give him some freedom, now you have a guy with Matt Wenning's brain and you've got Chuck Vogepohl's brain and these people can actually start putting their input in. Man, I mean, if you told me, hey, you're going to go train with Chuck Vogepohl, I'd be so psyched. Or Matt Wenning, or whoever, these guys all have this wealth of information that you should be using.
Yeah.
Let it out.
There's a big change in powerlifting now, and this gym's always been multiply. Mm-hmm. We've always catered to that. I was a multiply guy. We didn't know any different back in the day. That's all we knew. There wasn't raw. It wasn't ever like known as raw. Just guys wouldn't use gear.
Dave Tate called them nerds.
Oh.
You saw some guy show up at a meet with no gear on. You're like,
yeah,
you know what? You want a bench shirt?
But today it's different. I mean, that's the trend that's going, and if you don't follow it, you're going to be behind because most of my guys now are raw. Mm-hmm. And I've got guys in here that are freak strong.
Yeah.
Aaron Palco, 242. He weighs 235, squat 880. He benches 500 pounds. I mean, this kid is 235 pounds. He's a freak.
Yeah.
He's the strongest guy I've got in the gym. I got a 21-year-old. I'm gonna mess his weight class up. He's either 81 or 65. This kid's a pro already.
Yeah.
His first meet was pro, XPC pro. If you look up numbers on each federation, I think the XPC's got the highest totals out there.
Right.
We set those standards way back, and I've dropped them since because they were pretty high. But if you're considered XPC pro, that's pretty well.
You're a pro anyway.
You're up there.
Right.
You're up there. Those numbers are hard to hit. And I've got a dozen of them in here. Pros, girls, guys. I mean, it's nuts the level today. I got a super heavyweight, Tyler Obringer, squats 900 pounds. These are raw. These aren't geared guys.
Right.
Just had a kid. I call him a kid. I call them all kids because they're kids to me. But James Kinzer, multiply, just total pro. That's over 2,100 at 220. That's a pretty good number for a guy,
Absolutely. Yeah, it's when you talk about there not being a real secret to this, and I couldn't agree more. The longer I'm in this, I've been doing this since I was 12 years old, and the longer I'm in this, I realize that it's not a system. It's the people that are in your group and how hard you're going to work and how consistent you are with it.
Exactly.
Within reason. Your Matt Wennings are going to need a little bit more thought that goes into that project. But especially at a young level, it's just get in with a bunch of guys that just want to push you to your limits and work as hard as you can.
Yeah, and there's all kind of training methods out there, online or given by a personal trainer. And like I said, man, I just don't think there's any certain training methods that's going to help you. A lot of guys, they get to a level and they need a push over the top to get them past a sticking point, and you get an idea from somebody else that, but there's no secret.
Right.
I don't think.
No,
and that's in my opinion. I've been doing this since 1982. I've been in this powerlifting game since the 80s. I was just a skinny 174 pounds and 6'1".
Right.
I was a little skinny. I was terrible. I had no leverage.
Right.
I was tall. I was thin. The only thing I could do halfway decent was deadlift because I had long arms and a short upper body and long legs.
Yeah.
And I did okay. And then as I grew and got bigger, my leverages grew. But the best training I ever had was with Doug Heath. And I tell him that every time I see him. He would let you rest a lot. He really focused on rest. He had an off season. He took all summer off and played tennis.
Right.
I didn't do that.
Right.
But I think a lot of guys overtrain.
Yeah.
All the time. And there's that fine line from overtraining. You can get to that, and it's just right there. And it's easy to do. Real easy to get over that hump and overtrain. And I think a lot of people overtrain today. And then they wonder why they had a bad meet.
Yeah. And I think Instagram has a lot to do with that. You see guys like Larry Wheels deadlifting 900 pounds every week. You know? And it's like, well, he's maxing out like that. Yeah. Let's talk about where Larry Wheels is going to be in 5, 6, 7 years, though. If he sticks with it, he's the greatest of all time. But I don't know how, if you're a Steffi Cohen or a Larry Wheels, how you max out like that every single week and stay in the game.
There's some training programs that some people have come in here and talked about squatting every day.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. I would never do that. I would never tell somebody to do that. I mean, is it something new? I don't know. I don't keep up with any of the training methods.
I know that's a squat every day thing. Is some people have tried this, but you look at something like the Small Off squat program, which was big in CrossFit, and every couple of years, Small Off comes off. Small Off was. Have you heard of that? Small Off? So Small Off was this Olympic weightlifter who wanted to raise his squat for his Olympic list, and he did this extremely extreme program where he squatted 3 or 4 times a week, and you were squatting up to 90+% every time. And what people don't realize is that what they did in the Soviet Union was Smoloff was squatting, and the scientists were just writing down what he did. It wasn't like they were prescribing him to do that every day.
Oh, really?
They were just writing down what he did, and that became the Smoloff squat cycle.
Oh.
Smoloff will break you.
Yes.
You can't squat over 90%, especially if you're a strong person. And then I tried it twice as a young man, hurt myself twice, and but you still see it pop up all the time. And I try to tell people, look, number one, it's not going to work for you. And even if it does, you've neglected everything else in your training to get your squat up. So now your deadlift and your bench press has gone down.
Yeah.
And when
you're squatting every day.
Right. And when you start focusing on that again, the squat's going to go back down. So there's no substitute, as you know, for just training for 10, 20 years.
Yeah, I see in here, and I try to, and I've seen a big trend of people training by themselves, especially if they're raw.
Yeah.
These guys have come in here by themselves and train. I go, guys, why don't you get with each other and form a group?
Yes.
You got 4 monoliths and there's 4 of them being used. And it really aggravates me.
Yeah.
Every week I say, why don't you 4 get together and you 4 get together? That way we're not using every monolith and everybody's got to jump over here and that and spot this guy and spot this guy. I said, I've never seen anything like it. And as soon as they start helping each other and forming little groups, they get way better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aaron, who's one of the best in here, is the best in here, has took some of these young kids under his wing, and he's been training them. And he took them, well, one kid went to the meet, he's a pro already. And he's been working with them, and it just seemed to be better like that because they're all in here together.
Right.
And they're not in here at 3 3 o'clock in the afternoon squatting, and then the other guys in here at 8 o'clock at night. They need to, and I tell them all the time, stressing that. Let's all train together.
Yeah.
On Sunday morning, it's starting to work a little bit because we'll have 3 or 4 groups squatting, and we'll have a couple groups benching, and there's always 5 or 6 guys on a bench so it's starting to. I think they're starting to get it, and that's one of the biggest. I think is one of the best things in the sport is to be together, and to train together in a group, and I've been trying to stress it, and it's working. I think you'll become a better lifter.
I couldn't agree more. It's that group environment of, number one, they're helping you wrap knees, they're helping you spot, but they're also talking shit to you.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the last guy,
right.
the worst guy in the group.
They start like, well, he's out squat me this week, and then next week he wants to try out squat you. And
right.
That's what we used to do every Saturday. We'd have these big groups when Chuck and Matt was here, and we had a lot of guys, man. We just had a blast. I mean, you'd have 3 monoliths, and there'd be groups. We just bust them up in groups. The better guys squatted in this monolith. The next level down would squat in this monolith. The other level would squat in that monolith. And that's the way it went. And, man, we had a good time. It all worked, and we was all successful. And we was just all doing our own training methods, kind of all together. Mm-hmm. Switching it up a little bit. Some of us would be pin pulling, which we did a lot of pin pulls, and we all got successful in the deadlift from doing that. I haven't seen a guy in here hardly ever doing pin pulls now.
Right.
It's like, where did that go?
Right.
Good mornings, heavy cambered bar good mornings. Where'd that go? I see a lot of guys just doing deadlifts and doing for reps. And
right.
I mean, I guess it works for some, but
I think it's all social media related. You don't see good mornings aren't something you're going to see guys doing on social media. No one's, unless you're Burley Hawk or somebody, no one's putting up their videos of them doing good mornings. And then some people, you get these guys who'll say, oh, well, pin pulls will screw up your deadlift because it's from a different position. Yeah, maybe if all you do is pin pulls from the same height all the time, maybe it's not going to have a huge carryover for your deadlift. But if you do it from 6 different heights and you do your heavy good mornings and you're doing all this other stuff, it's great. Pull on them.
Chuck was a big, he loved pin pulls. Mm-hmm. And his thought was on it, you put straps on and you overload it. All you're doing is overloading the lockout. So he would do real heavy pin pulls, and you do them as a close stance. You don't do them wide stance.
Right.
You build your lower back. All you're doing, it's a tool.
Yes.
It's not to mimic the deadlift. It's to help you be able to put 1,000 on the bar,
right.
which he did with straps, with a real close stance, and use his lower back and hips and glutes. And he would pull that from pin 3 or whatever we used, pin 2, 3, right in there, right below the knee. And it seemed to really work for a lot of us. Right. It helped me. And we'd do it as far as we could with our regular grip. Mm-hmm. And as soon as the grip would give it out, we'd put the straps on and overload it. Let's see what we can do with straps on.
Yeah.
So when you go to the meet, even if you're a wide stance deadlifter, you use this close stance in the pin pull. And I've seen guys doing them wide stance and stuff like that. That's not going to work, man. That's a tool. Build your lower back and build your hips and your glutes.
I agree.
And that's what it's for. And then when you go to the meet, the idea is to lift more because you've been doing heavy pin pulls.
The old Westside videos of Chuck doing good mornings. I remember the guys with their feet way out to the rack, and they're coming in and doing their good mornings out of the chains. And Chuck would come in, put a block on the floor, feet narrow, narrow feet on a block, way deeper than everybody else, until he got to a point where he couldn't do it anymore. Then he would start taking the block away and moving his feet out.
We use variations of stances and grips and everything. We do that on everything.
Get strong in everything, not just
especially on the bench. I couldn't lock nothing out.
Uh-huh.
And Chuck had a hard time too. So we do a lot of close grip, like this, kill the triceps with, we use the tricep curl bar,
mm-hmm.
And do a lot of those with bands connected to them or chains or whatever, and just do all kind of variations of real close grip benches and, trying to build our arms up because we were terrible at locking out. And
right.
to this day, it's still bad at it, but we did a lot of that stuff. Kind of the same thing as the pin pull, just trying to find something to fix our weaknesses, which, mostly in the deadlift, when you're getting it up past your knees, is where it slows down.
Right.
Because I could explode everything to my knees, and anything past that, I never could lock anything out. Squat, That's where my trouble came in. I guess it's because I got long shanks, you know.
I was the exact opposite. If I can get it moving off the floor, I can lock it out.
And I have friends like that too. That are grinders, I call them. Once they get it moving, they can. I'm the opposite. I got to explode through the sticking point, and then maybe I can lock it out.
Right. Yeah.
With momentum. I was always a momentum lifter.
Right.
I mean, it worked when I had it right, but that's where I struggled. You know, there is two types. There's those momentum lifters, and then there's the grinder.
Yep.
You know, I don't know which one I'd rather be. Probably a grinder.
Well, yeah, it all depends on what you're doing, I guess. We talked about gyms like this not existing anymore, you know, and that kind of bums me out. When I was a kid, I used to be able to go in, and I think I got immune to seeing heavy weights lifted because we had pumping iron gym in my town with Billy Masters and these guys who were 900-pound squatters in there. And you're going in there as a 14-year-old kid and seeing these guys doing this. And there's no places for that anymore in most cities, you know.
Right.
It's it's a shame that kids can't go in and see that anymore. You know, unless you live in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I hear a lot of guys say, we don't have nothing like this in our town.
Yeah.
I think it's starting to spread out some, but there's some places that are, you know, that doesn't have anything like this.
Right.
I think it's more than I think. I you know, now that social media is out, you know, guy my age, this is really hard for me.
Right.
I'm just now starting to, you know.
Well, you were asking me how podcasts work before.
Yeah, I'm old, you know, I'm almost 60. So I'm getting, you got to follow it or you're going to be way behind, which everything's done on the phone now.
Yep.
And the Instagram is crazy. I'm not really particularly like it.
The best thing to do is get some 16-year-old kid to do it for you.
Oh, okay.
Just let them do it.
You know, look over here. Nobody can see, but there's a box. Those are all USAPL magazines.
Right, yeah.
And right here. These are all USA. That's what I go. I mean, I'd love to look through them today.
Sure.
And I learn a lot. I'll look back through there and I go, oh, yeah, remember that? You remember that guy? You know, I used to look up at Jim Cash, Larry Pacifico, guys like that. And I would wait for that magazine to come in the mail.
Right.
And I worked at a plant where I ran this machine, and most of it was just watching this. It was melting the metal, and I just watched this puddle all day and feed material into it.
Wow.
So you pretty much had downtime, and I would sit there and look at that book and dream about being on the stage with those guys or running into one of them. And when I would, I swear it was like seeing a movie star. Yeah. Today, it's not like that. Yeah. You know, these people don't even know who, you know, one of the older guys are. They're like, you know who that is? No. You know, that's Jim Cash. That's Larry Pacifico. Really? Who's that? Come on, man. I mean.
Yeah. You know, I think before Mark Bell had Eddie Cohen on his podcast, I think a lot of these young kids didn't know who Eddie Cohen was. And that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
And now I think he's kind of embraced it. I went and saw him speak at the Swiss conference in Toronto, and he's funny and he's entertaining, and I think that's helping him. But even me, I'm 45. I have 2 kids in their 20s who do majority. You know, I'm recording this podcast. After this, I'll send it to one of them via email, and they do everything else. I don't know how to do any of this stuff, you know.
Oh, really?
So, and then, you know, I've got another kid who tells me what to put on Instagram a lot of times. Oh, you need to put up a post about this, and he takes care of all the YouTube channel stuff. So it's just like, give a kid a free membership, let him do all that stuff for you.
Yeah, I have a few people working for me. My son, who lives in California now, which really kind of sucks because he's in the film industry.
Oh, yeah.
He's
perfect.
Director. He wants to be a director, and he's got a few gigs going on out there. Well, he's coming home Monday for a month. I said, you're going to do a video of my gym, because if you look back, if you go to YouTube, just type in Lexen Xtreme or AD Films, you'll see a ton of stuff we used to do. Today it's shorter films. He used to make, it would be long. They're like a sizzle reel.
Sure. Right.
Of my meets or of us training in here. A lot of them's got Chuck all over them.
Right.
And those, I go back to them every now and then and look, and I miss that from him so much. He can't do that now. And I told him when he gets here, he's going to do me a sizzle reel of the gym.
Right.
You know, because he's real good at, he'll film. He's got a real good camera he uses, and he'll take it to his laptop and edit it.
Right.
And put all kind of music with it, and it's just really cool.
It's important, you know.
It's real important.
I would like to be able to just train people. This is fun. The podcast and stuff's fun, but like for my gym, I'd like to just be able to train people. But,
you have your own gym?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would be nice for me to just go in and work with people, but I gotta find ways to bring people in. So I've got to put out these cool pictures and videos, and it's like, God, what? It's a lot of work that goes into that.
The fortunate thing I've got going on here is I've established a good name. I think in my mind it's not established good enough. I want to be more popular,
Mm-hmm.
and with social media,
Yep.
I'm trying to work it a little bit
Yep.
more. You said you've seen my Instagram,
Yes.
and
Yep.
I've been trying to build that. They just now taught me how to tag somebody else's and put theirs on,
Yeah.
so I could use
Just
other.
get some young kid to help you or
Well,
do it.
that's
for
what
you.
happened. One of the girls
Yep.
showed me how to do that.
I still do it. I still do it all the time. Someone has to show me how to do stuff.
Yeah, and I'm just not savvy like that. I never have been, but today and it really bothers me.
Yeah.
My wife's always saying, why don't you just take courses, because public speaking, stuff like that, I've been doing more of that because, I'm involved in the Arnold and I got to go to meetings and speak in front of it. It's tough, and it's something I have to learn, and I've gotten better at it. And, but yeah, this gym, I'm fortunate that I get a lot of word of mouth.
Yeah.
And people just come to me. I never reach out. They just come.
A lot of old dogs in here who,
yeah.
When I don't know, when I look at guys, I wanted to be Chuck Vogepohl when I was younger, and some of these guys, I can see them I can see them bring him in, but you're not going to get Chuck on social media.
You're not going to get Chuck on social media.
Right.
And if these kids come here and train with him, they'll be gone tomorrow.
Well, that's the thing I've always heard is that they won't be able to take the...
They probably won't be able to take it.
Right.
Chuck missed his calling to me, in my mind, of being a conditioning. He could have been a conditioning coach for any NFL football team out there.
Yep.
He is a conditioning fanatic.
Well, and he was great because when I saw Chuck Vogepohl when I was a younger kid, you wanted to look like Chuck Vogepohl. There was a lot of guys in geared powerlifting.
Didn't want to look
like, fuck, I don't look like that guy.
Yeah, you don't want to be fat. Yeah, that's another thing that changed. The sport has changed. There's a lot of guys you want to look like now.
Yeah.
And this sport has gotten way better with that.
I think people used to try to eat into their gear.
Yeah,
that became an excuse,
Yeah, I was the opposite. I liked the big, heavy, super heavyweight.
Right.
I liked that guy.
Yeah.
When I went to meets and I seen a 350-pound dude, I liked it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that dude's huge. That's what I want to look like. I wanted to be that guy.
There was a difference, though, in guys like Bill Kazmaier, who
are
300 plus pounds, and some of these guys who look like giant potatoes.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's some that was bad, but I love the supers. And I told Donnie Thompson that, and guys that would come to my meets, I go, you know what? When the supers come out, I freaking turn on. I like them supers.
Yeah.
When they step on the platform, that's a big dude.
Yeah, it is.
Squatting a grand or whatever, The little guys are cool too. The little guys are freaks more so.
Yeah.
Like Sean Frankel. I mean, look at him.
Yeah.
He was a 220 doing those numbers. And then you got, the bigger guys come out. I just always like that. But yeah, I'll get back to Chuck. Conditioning fanatic. You can't stop him. He don't like to lose. And if you did out rep him or something, he's going to try to beat you before we leave the gym.
Yeah. And he was the complete package. He was in shape. He was in condition. He was super strong. I like the fact that just because you're a powerlifter doesn't mean you should not do any conditioning work, And the conditioning work, I think I've always seen him do in videos was pulling heavy sleds. Or he had that, what was that contraption he used to wear that?
Powerpole.
Yeah, he used to, the thing come off his stomach.
You know how he designed that?
No.
He would carry salt bags down his steps and to feed his water softener because he lives out in the country a little bit and he didn't have city water. He had salt water.
Right.
And you have to put salt in a softener.
Okay.
So he'd walk down the steps and he would have to hold the bag out. And he said, man, that'd be a great exercise to have something, an apparatus, because he built that when he was here. He's still here. He comes on Sundays and helps Jason Coker, who just came here, and another guy, Brian Billings. He works with them in the squat. So the power pole's sitting outside the door here. I can show it to you before you leave. But he designed that, and I helped him. We together made it. I welded it up, and he sold them, and we both made a little money when we had. We don't no longer make them, but anyway, he would take a pole, and he thought if you put a collar out here, farther out on the pole, and then stack weights, it would pull you over.
Right.
And he learned that by carrying salt bags. It would pull him forward, and he'd have to pull back on it. He said, man, it'd be great to be able to do that in the gym.
Right. Yeah.
So he, the harness for the drummer, It's the front squat harness.
Right.
He just took that and he attached a pole to it with a collar that was longer. And you slip the collar over it, tighten the collar up, and then stack the weights on top of the collar,
So
and then
it's
put
way
another
away from
collar
your center.
to hold the weights. And he would bend over with that, and all the weight positioning would be out in front of him. The farther out that weight is, the more it pull you over.
Right.
So you could drag with it. You could do deadlifts with it. He did all kind of stuff, variations with it, squatted with it. And yeah, that's how he come up with that idea, was just carrying salt bags downstairs. He always has he's got a mind like that. You know, he's always in here.
Why not let those guys go? You
know? He's always got, you can see, Chuck will sit down during a workout and the wheels are turning. You're like, oh, what's he coming up with?
Yeah.
Oh, time to leave. Chuck's coming up with something. No, don't leave yet, boys. We got to do these outside. You're like, oh no, we're not going outside. But yeah, he still does that. You know, he's into fighting now. He does stand up here in town at another gym. I don't know what.
Shit.
Yeah, he stands up.
How old a man is Chuck?
I want to say, if he's listening to this, well, if he listens to this, he might kill me. But
he ain't gonna listen.
I'm 58. He's 54, I think. He's just right, about 4 years younger than me. And he stands up every week somewhere and does fighting. He still lifts 5 days a week, maybe more. And he grapples now.
Okay.
With there's a gym right here in Grove City, right around the corner from this gym, where he grapples every week. And I think he does that twice a week. But yes, he is working harder than he's ever. He looks great.
Yeah.
Probably weighs 215, 220.
Wow.
He's shredded.
Yeah.
You know, because he's conditioning all the time. That's why I say you make a great conditioning coach for. His brother is a football coach. I want to say it's Salina.
Okay.
Ohio. And Chuck went out there and helped him one year. I think he might go out there still. And he conditioned this team out there, and he put them through the ringer. He came up with a plan.
Do that fighter conditioning without anybody actually punching me in the face. That was where I draw a line. I don't want to fight because I don't want to get hit.
Oh, he'll stay. He's always fighting's been his passion from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, he was a CO, wasn't he? Was he a corrections
officer? He's a CO
officer?
still.
Is he still?
Well, yeah, he's the head of like the activities out there to the prison. They used to lift weights in prison, and then they took the weights away. He was in charge of all the activities, and he switches jobs from time to time. He's about to his end here. He's going to retire, but and there again out there he would have those inmates conditioning and doing stuff all the time. He's real good at that. Just breaking people down, seeing what you're made of.
Right. Yeah.
It'll show you what you're made of real quick.
Right,
This guy's over here laying on the ground, sucking wind. He's like, "Yep, I got him." But that's Chuck, and he'll condition right there with you.
Yeah, you've always heard those stories about him forever.
Oh yeah, and it's true.
Yeah.
I've been involved in. He would say, "We're gonna go outside and carry these kettlebells up and down the parking lot." I said, "Dude, I'm not doing that. I don't need to do that." And he'd be, he'd give you a chance.
Right. Right.
And then he'd leave you alone usually. Left me alone because he probably figures out this old guy's going to get broke
kill
down
him.
anyway. So, yeah, he was pretty easy on me, I guess, because I was older. But, it was fun training with him. Crazy. And everybody says, "Oh, I'd love to train with Chuck." I go, "Okay, come on in, train with Chuck."
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've got a good motor and I'm decently strong, but I don't think that would be a fun time.
That Mike Johnson brings back when Mike was here. Him and Chuck trained together all the time.
Yeah,
and he was a strongman background.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You couldn't break Mike down.
Right.
He could keep up with anybody.
Yeah.
He'd go out and put that harness on and walk up and down, and he's just laughing about it.
Right.
That was easy, I think that background and strongman helped him condition. It's
important for strongmen, and a lot of them don't realize I've got a lot of fairly high-level strongman competitors I'm working with, and I've got them conditioning like crazy to the point where they hate me. But it's so important.
It is important. They're in better shape.
Stuff. Yeah.
Those big guys them dudes are in shape.
Yep.
Because that's hard to
carry
something heavy and almost run with it.
Right. Yeah.
It's a whole different ball game.
Yeah.
To have something, I've noticed when I have something like on my shoulders or something that weights my chest down where it's hard for me to breathe, I really struggle with stuff like that because I'm not in the condition.
Sure.
Anything that's strapped on my shoulder or something that's pulling me down, it's really hard for me to do that. I'd have to really train that to be able to conquer it.
Right.
And I'll give credit to strongman, man. That's
Well, a lot
tough.
of their events are like 1 minute, as many reps as you can do in a minute with a heavy weight. It's just like, Jesus, that's a minute is a long time when you're going, you know?
Yeah, when you see them doing it, you're like, yeah, I might probably do that. And just like this Highland
Get in
Games.
there.
Yeah, I'm not doing the
So
Highland
just
Games.
a different school of thought when you get in there for sure. This has been great. I want to thank you for doing this. What's next for Lexen? I know you got a big meet tomorrow, and
Have a meet tomorrow, December 1st. Come out. Well, if you can, it'll be crowded in here. We get a pretty good draw. That's 45 lifters because you can't really overbook in the gym,
right?
or you'll have it'll be a headache. So
Yeah.
we get about 45 lifters, and then for me, it's downtime till Arnold, which is first weekend of March every year, 1st through the 3rd, or actually it falls on the 29th of February, I think, because it starts on Thursday.
Right.
But a lot of that's preliminary stuff, meet and greets and whatnot.
Yeah.
The actual expo opens on Friday, and it runs till Sunday. I think it closes 5 or 6 o'clock, and then but from now till then, I can't focus on nothing else.
Well, the whole world's getting ready for the Arnold now.
It's go time for me. There's a bunch of hoops I got to jump through. Yeah, I got to have a stage this year built, and I got a bunch of sponsors coming on board. I got to get with them, and signage has got to be made because everything changed. This is a XPC Worlds this year because the Larmers asked if whoever could make their event on a world event to do so.
Right.
So I took the XPC, and it's the XPC Worlds. A lot of Europeans are interested. I've got a lot of them, calling me and texting me, and with social media, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be a lot of those guys coming.
Good.
It's getting, but for them, you got to send them the invite. They have to go to their embassy. They have to
right.
They got to get they
better
permission.
get it going right now. Yeah.
It takes 3 months for the guys to get over here. And I told them, I said, hey, it's filling up. It's half full now. I said, the Arnold's half full as we speak.
Right.
I've got this cool event, man. It's Mark Bell's sponsoring it.
Okay.
It's called the Slingshot Showdown. It's on Friday on the Rogue stage in the expo. He's giving away $3,000. He's giving every competitor a red slingshot for free. And he's sponsoring the event. I'm hosting it. He's sponsoring it.
Awesome. You
can go to the website and sign up. All you got to, the qualifiers are low.
Right.
For a guy that's our size, 275 and over, it's, I think it's 468. Anything over that, we'd like you to be able to open with 468.
Right.
And then it goes down from there. It's nothing's over 400 or 500 pounds.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
So it's not hard to get in it. It's something fairly easy to get in, but there again,
be on the stage at the Arnold.
Be on the stage at the Arnold. There's a chance to win money. You get a free slingshot. Who wouldn't do that?
Right,
if I could do it, I would do it. And I came up with the idea. I thought this would be great because I use a slingshot every time I bench.
Do you?
Oh yeah, I got to. I try not to use it. I try to see what I can do, and then when I overload, I just put it on.
Yeah.
Because I'll get hurt.
Right.
My shoulders are jacked, but
I think that's the proper use of it. It's not so you can put another 40 pounds on your back.
Yeah, I use it every week. I usually use the red one to warm up, and then once I get heavy, I'll put the black one on. And I love it. It's a great tool, and I always thought I've got the ability to run the event on the stage.
Yeah.
The Larmers give me that spot. What are you going to put up there? And I said, a slingshot show would be great. So I reached out to Bell, and him and his wife said, yeah, we'd like to do it. So I've been working with them and back and forth with emails, and I haven't yet had Mark mention it.
He will.
He's too busy, man.
He'll get on it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we still got time.
Yep.
It's just now December. Usually I don't start plugging the Arnold. Actually, people don't start turning entries until now.
Right.
But I opened it up a little early this year, and it's half full. So that slingshot show's only got a couple guys signed up, but I'm sure it will.
Oh, yeah, it'll build. As soon as people hear it, we'll put this out, and people hear it. This will be out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and then you got the 21 deadlift salute. That's on the main stage.
Yeah.
That's 20 guys. That usually fills up pretty good. And then you got the last man standing, which is hosted or sponsored by Bench Daddy, Mike Womack.
Okay.
And we're using his apparatus, his shirt. Well, you can use any shirt you want. But a lot of guys are turning to his shirt, the Bench Daddy shirt.
Yeah.
And that thing, whew, have you seen this shirt?
No.
Oh, my God. It's amazing. It is amazing. Check it out. Check his website out.
Check that out.
Yeah, Mike Womack out there in Texas, he's got, it is a gangster shirt, man. And last man standing is it's a contest where the lifter comes out openers are set. You take 25-pound jumps into the last man standing.
Oh, I love that.
It's cool.
That's really
They don't
nice.
set their own. We set it.
That's
So he opens with
fantastic.
660. He's got to take that 25-pound jump, then a 25-pound jump, and they start fading out.
Right.
Once they hit 3 or 4 reps, they start dropping off, and then the last guys keep going till the last man standing.
See, I love that.
And then Greg Powell out of Texas, if you've heard of Greg.
Yes.
He usually wins the whole thing because he comes to the Arnold every year and usually takes home the gold every year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an amazing bench guy.
I love the way that's run. That'd be great.
Well, we're doing that this year. And that's on the main stage.
Yeah.
So you got those 3 on main stage. Across the hall in the expo, you got all the full power stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we're downtown, we're going to dominate down there and
I love it.
blow them out of the water, I hope. And if people that didn't sign up this year, they're going to wish they did.
Yeah. So sign up for the Arnold.
Yeah, sign up.
Where do they go? XPC?
XPCpowerlifting.com, and there's a request. Like, say you want to do it,
Yeah.
you'll fill out a request form.
Okay.
You'll submit that. I get the me or Nick, my web guy, gets the email. We look over it, make sure he's legit enough to come in.
Right.
And then we send you the invite. The invite's given through email. Once the invite's out, it's a list right there. It says you're not on the roster until you pay your entry fee.
Sure.
That person pays, boom, he's on the list.
Well, go check that out and get ready to start training for the Arnold.
Yeah. Hopefully we got plenty of time. Right now is the time to start training. We got about 3 months right now.
Okay.
So you got all December, January, February.
End of February.
Eat your holiday dinner and get right back at training again. And if you come to the Arnold, because these next 3 months fly.
Yeah, they do.
Especially for me. And then it's go time. And then my that weekend I'm down here, I'm a mess. And then about a month afterwards, I start getting back to normal.
Right. Start to hit
it takes the wind out of my sail. It does, but it's all worth it.
Well, I want to thank you for having us down here. Lexen is a fantastic gym, a lot of history, and it's been a real pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dan Dague.
All right, buddy.
Well,
Thanks.